Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a gentleman from New York. I'm going to tell you where he's from. I'm going to let him tell you where he's from. I can't speak because I don't think I'm going to be able to say it right, so I'll let him tell you. He is a positive rock indie American recording artist. Please welcome Frank Palangi. Hello, Frank.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Hanging in there.
So, okay, where are you from?
I am from upstate New York, which is near the Adirondacks or the Capital Region.
Okay. Yeah, Adirondacks. I was like, okay, I'm gonna mess it up. So yeah, I figured I was gonna let you say
A
it.
bunch of trees up here. Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay, well, it's cool. I've never been. New York is one of the places I love to go, so I'll hopefully get there one day. Now, I love how it says in your bio, serving up a feeding frenzy of deep and gritty, raw powerhouse vocals. Palangi freshly fuels a positive, energetic driving performance. I love how you worded that in your bio, if you wrote your bio. It's so cool. Um, and I also, just reading your bio, like you like so many bands that I love, like Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, Def
Yeah.
Leppard, Megadeth, Creed, Godsmack, Daughtry, Three Days Grace, Nickelback. Daughtry's voice melts me. I'm just saying, just so everybody knows, it absolutely melts me.
You'll like the story I'll tell later then about it.
Okay, ooh, okay, cool. And I love that you like a Canadian band, Nickelback. And Nickelback in Canada has kind of a love-hate relationship with people here. I don't know why, because they are so talented. But
Oh,
anyway,
even in America, I think everywhere.
really, that's crazy. Anyways, okay, so basically, Frank, tell me your story. Like, when did you start playing music, getting interested in music, and then decide this is what you're gonna do for the rest of your life?
I grew up, watching movies. I was a big fan of horror movies and sci-fi movies, action movies, all that kind of stuff. So one day I rented the movie called The Crow, right? And it's about a dead rock star comes back to life. I thought it was cool. And there's a scene where he's playing guitar up on the rooftop, and I asked my mom, I go, "What is that?" She's like, "This is when I was really young." I go, she's like, "It's a guitar." I was like, "I want to play that. Is it possible to play like that?" She's like, "Yeah." So they went out to my local store, which would be my first job that I ever work at, and she got me a Jackson guitar with a little 15-watt crate amp, and the Mockster was born.
Awesome. Wow, that's cool. I like that The Crow got you interested. And what a great movie, I'm just saying.
A big Brandon Lee fan. It's too bad what happened to him.
I know. It's so sad.
Uh,
So
he would have
sad.
been in the Matrix. A lot of people don't know that was his roles was the Matrix actually.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's so, you know what? It's so sad when we lose them when they're young. It just makes me sad because we never know. Like, I'm a huge Marilyn Monroe fan, and I just wonder where she would
Yeah.
be today, you know? Same with Elvis. But anyways, that's besides the point.
A lot
Okay.
of the music guys, it's 27's the number. Kurt Cobain, a lot of people.
Yeah, no kidding, right? It's just weird. And I don't know. Anyways, we're not going to get into that because it just depresses me. Okay. So your dedication to determination has led you to opening slots in the Northeast region. Now, tell me who you've opened for.
Um, a lot of the bands that I've always wanted to see their shows, or they've influenced me somehow, which is like Three Doors Down, we got Trapped, we got Power Man 5000, Fuel. I did a festival with Alice in Chains, Jane's Addiction. There was another festival that we won a slot, and it had Megadeth, had Shinedown, 6 a.m., Dokken, from the
Oh
80s,
my
love them.
God,
They were there.
yeah.
Scott Stapp was there, but he was playing the opposite day I did, so I didn't get to see him. But a lot of those bands. I'm trying to think who else. You got a lot of '90s bands. You get Hurt. Um,
You
I have
got
to, I'd have to
Red
look.
Sun Rising, Buck Cherry, Candlebox, and one another favorite, Aaron Lewis from Stained. He's now
Yeah,
solo.
he's a
Um,
cool guy. Yeah,
Oh, he's so amazing. Starset, Lacey Sturm from Flyleaf, Fuel, Marcy Playground, Trapped with Smile Empty Soul, Candlelight Red, Veer Union, Powerman 5000, Young Guns, Hurt, like you said, Jess Mullen, former D Generation singer. And then you had supporting acts with like IM5, Spiritual Res, Prospect Hill, Bad Access, Hindenburg, Surzy, DeLuca, Silverside. Good Lord, that's that's a lot.
Those
Um,
those are like the bigger guys I consider them. At the time I was like, we were all kind of there's like a circuit, and they're all doing the circuits and stuff. Some of them are signed to indie labels, so they're basically all those indie signed bands. The last ones, yeah.
okay, cool. And your taste, being a millennial, has developed over time with your clean image and attitude fusing with the post-grunge old school grand slam sound. And your sound is definitely grand slam. Your song, I love your songs. I am a huge fan. Just so you know, I am a fan.
I
Um,
try to do that raw. I'm a fan of that raw rock. Like the reason why I love Metallica is because you can feel it, but you can hear it as well. That it's raw, but it's aggressive.
mhm.
But time, it's not as raw as like a garage band or it's produced. So I kind of I try to do that with my songs. I think that is ingrained in me as far as style wise. I can't get it out. It's even on stage. You got that energy going.
And you know what? And the weird part, I thought you were going to have a deeper voice. I mean, that's how good you do the raw rock sound.
I can.
Yeah, I thought you were going to have a much deeper voice from listening to your songs. Now, your determination and your support from your fans has opened the doors to working with record producers and musicians, along with the opening slots, which we already talked about. Now, I find it interesting how you got to record your first EP right up to now, by just standing outside venues where some of your favorite bands have played and handing them a demo.
Yeah, sometimes it's as simple as that. To believe it or not, I always say it's up to the artist. Some people are just like, oh, there's another CD some kids handed me.
Hmm.
Just throw it on the bus. But um, Day of Fire, they were a Christian rock band, and I think Josh just saw something in me, or maybe got some sign, some sort of sign, and yeah, I mean, it all started with them because he handed it to his producer. It was like one of those things where it's like you hear of the phone call. Is that phone call ever going to happen? It does. It does happen. It's happened for me like twice, and
Hmm.
out of the blue, it was him, and all of a sudden we're talking about not only going to Nashville, but actually work like we're going to have that band on your record. Where they're going to guide you. So it's like freaking out. I'm
I
like,
would
yeah.
be too. That is so cool, though. That is just amazing. I mean, and it's every indie artist hopes that something like that happens, and that's why they do hand out their demos. I mean, I don't think there's many people handing out demos anymore as kind of directing people to where their, digital music is. I miss CDs, I'm just saying. Now,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
this saying is from Brian Craddock of Daughtry, who, yeah, melt again. But anyways, he says, Frank is an amazing young artist with a very clear and focused direction. Frank knows who he is, a killer singer and guitar player. Frank Palangi is an artist to watch out for. That is like amazing praise from somebody from Daughtry. Like, wow.
He's a great guy. Let me tell you, it's like when he sent me that, I was like, oh wow. Like it was funny because some people are a little weird with some things, and I asked him, I go, I'm doing like a little campaign to try to raise some money towards this to go in production, and so he did a voiceover for it. He tweeted it to his fans. He obviously went down to Virginia and he produced the track. He plays on it. Yeah, well, the way it started, I tell this story because it's true. One of my fans messaged me and goes, they're having this Daughtry VIP thing, and it's only for 60 people. It's an acoustic thing. And I was like, you should enter it. I go, I entered it. I go, maybe I'll win, but I go, just enter it. So she entered it. I kind of had to convince her, and she goes, I won. And I was like, no, come on. I didn't win. She's like, no, I won. She goes, you want to go? Maybe you can meet him. So I got a picture with Chris. I told Chris about Day of Fire because Chris, it's all Day of Fire connection for some reason. Chris toured with Josh and all them, and he actually wrote 3 songs on their third record. So there's a little bit of that connection. And afterwards, Brian was waiting for his limo to come pick him up. So I go, I gotta walk over there and just talk to him. And I go, I just gotta. So that's how it all started.
Wow, that is so cool. I don't sing, but I just want to meet these people. I'm gonna go to their gigs and stand in back alleys. No, I'm joking. I'm so joking. Now, okay, so you released your debut EP. It grew into two new self-released EPs, I Am Ready, Set Me Free, plus fifth year anniversary acoustic versions. Then I Am Ready, 2013, produced by Rob Coates, David Archuleta, Rich Redmond, Mark Wills, sorry, and it received an LA Music Award nomination and coverage in Guitar World magazine, Revolver magazine, front page on Music Now magazine, Young Celebrity News, Middle Tennessee Music, and many others.
Yeah, some of those sadly have gone out of business, or they changed their name.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, it's cool. Guitar World's been really good. I've been in there for the past 5 years. I've had, I think, all of my releases covered by them. I was only in one version of the Led Zeppelin magazine that came out, I think, in 2003, and then everything else has been online. But they're I was surprised because they cover mostly bigger, national news and stuff. But they're pretty good to me.
that's awesome. That is awesome. Now, I want to talk about some of the musicians that you've worked with. You've worked with drummer Lester Estelle from Kelly Clarkson's band, guitarist Noah Henson, Brantley Gilbert. He was supposed to play in a concert last night here in Winnipeg,
Oh,
and we had a big snowstorm, and he couldn't get
wow.
through. I am so sad, but he's going to do a new show. We just don't know when. But yeah, that was just a little info on Brantley Gilbert. Now the EP expanded your local airplay, and you were on internet rock radio, press, music videos, and national shows. And then your third installment EP, there was a longer 5 year gap in between projects, and you were playing shows, writing songs, recording demo material, producing local artists. So that's cool. I didn't know that you produced local artists as well.
Yeah, a lot of people come over. They'll do these, acoustic demos, or I was helping one of my friends at the time do his project and a couple other projects. So yeah, anybody that needs it, I still do it. Anybody that I'll do guitar parts, I'll help them with the whole song structure and the producing end and mixing, all that fun stuff. It takes a lot of time.
Cool.
A lot of time.
Now, I didn't know that you acted as well. And now, okay, I'm going to talk to you later. I want to get hired to do voiceovers. Everybody keeps telling me I should do them. I have no clue how to even start doing that. I was a radio broadcaster for 18 years, and now I do this. So everybody keeps telling me,
Oh,
somebody told me I sound like a Disney princess. I'm like, what?
there's some ways to get out there. I've just been getting into it past 6 months more with all the different voiceover stuff. But
Okay.
it's fun.
Yeah, see, that's what I think it would be awesome. And people were telling me, well, find somebody. And I'm like, I'm in Winnipeg. I don't know if there's people that I don't know. So I have no idea. But anyways, back to you. That's got nothing to do with this. Um, Now, okay, so you've got your new EP out now, Set Me Free, and it was mastered by Brad Blackwood, sorry, 3 Days Grace and Corn, and Robert Venable, 21 Pilots and Megadeth. Like, hello.
He's worked with a lot of country guys too. Him and Lester, the drummer you mentioned earlier, they co-own a studio. So I've worked with Lester for the past 5 years on almost all my tracks doing drums. And he at the time was just the guy who owned the studio, but recently I was like, I think he's really good. I always wanted to work with him. So I go, even though I stepped in the ring and I was producing the rest of these tracks and mixing them, I was like, I got to get this guy to do some mastering. And he does a really good job. Really good job.
Well, you can hear it. Now you also, okay, so this single, Set Me Free, won 2 Academia Music Awards and finished as the unsigned only finalist with a brand new music video debuting on Vivo, as well as your local New York Time Warner Cable TV network with a commercial and local New York TV performances on Fox 23 News, News Channel 13, Look TV, Plattsburgh Studio B TV, Crandall Library Prospect School Center of Disabilities Telethon. Local newspaper features: the Albany Times Union, Saratoga Spotlight News, the Chronicle, the Post Star. Metroland locally winning one of the Best in the Region awards for Best Acoustic Solo. Holy crap, Frank.
There's a lot of local stuff. It's all local, you know. There's a lot of good local stuff, and a lot of it is, I just enter all this stuff. You just never know, and I've just been lucky to, win it once or twice or whatever, and
That's
pretty.
cool.
But yeah, actually, it was "Break These Chains," the song that did all that, not "Set Me Free."
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Sorry, my mistake.
But it was cool though because my commercial was statewide. So if you were watching the Oprah Network or something like that in New York, you'd see it, and it aired like 4 times a day over the course of a couple of weeks. And then I did that sort of, I think it was like 3 or 4 times during a year. So it was like maybe like 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
Um, it was, well, yeah, it was neat. I have it taped still. It's like weird. You're watching TV and all of a sudden your ad comes on.
Yeah, that would be freaky. That'd be cool. I couldn't imagine. Now, let's also talk about the festivals that you play for. Because you've played at the Rock and Derby Festival
Yep.
the New York Fairgrounds, and that was featuring Megadeth, Shinedown, Dokken, Like a Storm, Coheed, and Cambria, and the Uproar Festival in Saratoga, New York, featuring Alice in Chains and Jane's Addictions. Like, you've played alongside some of the most amazing bands ever. I'm just saying.
Getting
Um,
there, getting
um,
there. I got high hopes for a few bands here. We'll see.
oh, I'm sure he'll get there. Your determination, and obviously, you're like, it's working for you. I mean, I can't believe all the things that like you said, you you kind of like decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and you do it, and it seems to work for you. So good for you, and keep going because it's working. Um, to be able to have a quote by somebody from Daughtry alone would, like, I mean, that would make my additional like life. Anyways, so additional singles: Hope, Falling to, Purple Haze. Additional musicians that you've had: Michael McManus, Saving Abel, 12 Stones, Scott Stapp, who you did mention, Scotty Derrico, Jacob Veal, and then, like we said, mastering engineers, Gavin Lurson. He worked with Robert Plant, the Foo Fighters. Ruben Cohen worked with Rob Zombie and Snoop Dogg. And I also love Rob Zombie. And you can kind of tell what kind of music. I like all kinds of music, but I love that kind of music. It just gets you going.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm an official headbanger. I'm just saying, I can do it really well, and I still can do it. I was worried that as I got older, my neck would like start giving out. But it hasn't. And your music does the same thing, just so you know. It makes me want to bang my head. Yeah, in a good way. And
Quite
that didn't sound bad. That didn't sound good. No, in a good way, like, head bang. There we go. Not bang my head. So I love your saying you have no plan B in backing down on your dreams.
Yeah, I came that I think 2008 I came up with that. Sometimes I forget what year.
That is
It's too fast what it is.
that is just a cool attitude to have, because yeah, if you don't have a plan B and this is your plan and you do everything to make it work and it's working for you, like I keep saying, I'm such a fan. Like, I'm going gaga right now, so just ignore me. But yeah, I am such a fan.
Well, it's you reach a point like I got out of high school. I was sick of the whole high school band stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it on my own. I was just so sick of it. And I'm like, I'm gonna play every instrument. I'm gonna write stuff. I was like, I'm just sick of this. I'm just gonna do it. So for a while, those 4 years before I met Day of Fire, I made 2 full demo albums and one kind of 2-track little thing, and that was my trial period of what is it like to play like a little battle of bands in a cafe, in a restaurant, then a bar, and then to record my stuff on basically minimal stuff. Back in like 2006 and 2008, you didn't have all these laptops that you can just supposedly just record right into it and all that. It was a desktop computer with a few other things. You always had to get an interface and this, but it wasn't as simple now as, I'm just going to pop up the program, plug this in, get all my ideas down. So it was a little bit of, it's interesting. It's like old school with new school, because I had to learn and I don't know. It's a whole recording thing I could go into. Recording lesson number one.
Well, if
Let's
anybody
go.
wants to know all about it, make sure you contact Frank and he can tell you all about it. Now, one of the things I caught out of your bio too is you worked with somebody that you never met, and that was a new experience for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The second EP, Rob Coates and all them. We never worked in the room together at all on the EP. It's all done separate. Everything.
That is so weird. So many artists do that now. I've had bands where each member is in a different part of the country and they all send things and then mix it, and it blew me away. I was like, what? You guys have never been in the same room at the same time? I mean, technology is amazing. Obviously, nowadays it's a little crazy, like you were talking about. Now, because you've been doing this for a while, and I love your attitude, number one. I love that you take chances and you do stand in a back alley and hand your demo to somebody. I think that is amazing. So, if you had any kind of advice, Frank, to give any new artist that was just starting out, or even some of the indie artists that are out there and are maybe struggling, because we all know that, the indie scene isn't the easiest to make money at. What kind of advice would you give them?
I always say practice, 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 and practice, because practice does make perfect. Perfect. I can't talk right now. Practice makes perfect. And what I notice is because of the internet, it's so easy just to upload. Say I worked on this today, and they just uploaded it and stuff like that. I think it's good, but in a way, if you're a brand new artist and you want to be an artist, and you want to play out, you want it to go somewhere, don't do that at first. Just you can still write, do demos, hand them to your friends, that kind of stuff, but only put out your best stuff first, because
Hmm.
that's what people are going to see, and they're going to want to follow it and see where you go from there. Especially if you want other people to look at you. That's probably my best advice is just really hone in on the stuff. If you got to make 8 versions of that song, and then finally you find a producer and they're like, it's a great song, I see it going a little bit this way, and then that's the version you're going to hit everybody with, because you're all practiced up. It's oiled, fine-tuned machine, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Go from there, but also you got to have patience, especially with social media today, all this stuff.
Hmm.
Just have patience. It'll come to you. Some people come to you, and some people come because maybe you're reaching out to them. You're kind of putting the vibe out there.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I'm going to kind of extend that a little bit. Like, I get so many submissions in a day from artists, new artists that want to come on my show. I mean, I don't do just musicians, I do actors, authors, so on and so forth. But when they send me them doing a cover and they're driving while they're singing, you know what I mean? And it's not, like you said, honed and fine tuned
Yeah,
and well oiled, it kind of turns me off. I'm just saying, it does. Or if somebody says, go check out my YouTube video, and it's you sitting in a garage with a guitar, and you may have a really great voice, but maybe the sound isn't that great, and you're singing somebody else's song. And I think a lot of people get it in their head that, okay, if I can sound like this person, I'm going to make it. No,
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're always going to be compared to that person, and that person who's a multi-millionaire recording artist is going to be the one that makes it and you not. So yeah, I totally get what you say and I agree with it 100%. Make sure it is the best possible version of a song that you can do before you send it to anybody or upload it onto YouTube. So great
yeah.
advice.
You're
And you're the
trying to
first.
reach, radio audience, or you're trying to get that radio interview, and the radio guys, just with TV and the record labels, anybody, they don't want those type of videos. They want something that's like, is it radio ready? That's what
Mhm.
I time. Is it radio ready? I'm like, yeah, it's radio ready. I don't know
Yeah.
what ready is.
And that's great advice because it's true. And when you said that, I was just like, yeah, you know what? That works. I want it to be the best version because if I'm going to bring you on my show and I'm
Yeah,
worldwide, I
I think
want.
a lot of it is, like I said, is just being aware, and it's like being aware of, if you're going to do that type of video, you can do it,
Mhm.
but it's weird. It's like it can't just be from a cell phone. you know.
Exactly. Or like, somebody recording you from a cell phone.
Maybe you got a friend are getting into movies and stuff like that. And they come over, they got a camera, they got lights, they have a soundboard, you have a recording interface, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I will still always check them out, no matter what, because a good voice is a good voice. Um, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I prefer, something that is kind of, canned, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that is ready to just me throw up on my website if I have you on. So yeah, or radio ready, like you said. That's great advice. You're the first person that's ever said that. I just want to say, and I've interviewed a lot of artists. You're the first person to give that advice, and I think it is the best advice because it applies to everything. Like I said, my show. So yeah, great advice,
I've got
Frank.
a little bit of different outlook, right? I've never fouled, the certain grain that I've heard a lot of people foul. I'm always like, okay, here's the path. It's straight. Okay, yeah, I can go straight, but I'm gonna go around just because I know the outcome's gonna be totally different. I'm not gonna be just like them, or I'm not gonna reach the same location as them. You have to find things for yourself.
Yeah. I could talk to you all day. I'm just telling you right now. Especially the advice you're giving. It's great advice. And I have a lot of young artists that are coming on my show and talented, like, oh my God, talented. But then I get submissions from some of the younger ones and they're doing cover versions of whatever. And that's fine. Don't get me wrong. That's fine. Because I mean, if you're doing cover versions, that's great. I'm not going to
That's how
bring
you
you on my
start out.
show. Yeah, because you have to have originals because of copyright laws. Like you have to be able to have your own original music. And I'd prefer like do a cover and then do an original song. So yeah. Okay, well, yeah.
Both
Now-
sides of the coin. That's the best. That's the best thing.
yeah, exactly. Both sides of the coin. See, you're so smart. No wonder you're making it.
I don't feel it all the time.
You are, trust me. I love your voice too, by the way. Even though I thought it was going to be deeper, you could be a radio announcer. I'm just telling you because I've been doing it for 18 years and yeah, you have that voice.
I did
Um,
some of it in college. I actually liked it a lot. It was fun.
it is fun. I mean, you get to, your job is like sitting there listening to the music and, talking,
Yeah.
which I'm really good at, by the way, if you can't figure that out yet. Anyways, Frank, what two songs are we going to hear from you today?
I would say "Set Me Free," and I would say the fan favorite here, "Break These Chains." What I've been getting.
Yeah, it is a favorite. I love it. I absolutely love it. Your voice is amazing. I wanted to talk about your voice really quick. Okay, now I'm going to forget who I'm talking about. Chris. Oh my God, he passed away.
Cornell.
Yes, Chris Cornell. Good Lord, my brain's fried. Um, I heard that before he performed, because we all know how crazy good his voice was, he used to place a hot chili pepper in his throat and just hold it there and then pull it out and then sing. Is that true? Have you ever heard of that?
No, I've never heard of that before, ever.
Okay.
Maybe. I
Hmm.
know his vocals would run through an old record player before it even hit the board, or some sort of, analog device.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I heard that's what he did. I mean, if anybody who's listening to this knows different, please tell me, because it's one of my favorite stories. And
Yes,
I
drop it here in the comment section.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
chat
please,
about it.
please let me know because if I'm wrong, I want to know because yeah, I've shared that story with a couple people because when I heard it, I was like, oh my God, that is so crazy, but cool because it works. And you have one of those voices. Break These Chains just grabs you. And I love Set Me Free. But yeah, if I was going to pick, it would be Break These Chains. I love the song and your voice. I just love your voice. Okay, I'm going to stop gushing. Now, you can purchase your music online as well as your website, which is Palangi, I'm going to say .com. It'll be up on my website. People just click on it. It'll go directly to your website so they can find out all kinds of interesting things about you, listen to more of your music, find out if you're playing in the local area so they can go and watch you because I think you would be amazing to watch live. So hopefully you come to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Just a hint, because I will be there. I will be there and I'll be bringing a whole bunch of people. So Frank, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, coming on my show. I totally appreciate it. Anything new happens, let me know. You can come back on. This isn't a one-shot deal. So yeah, keep in touch and I wish you all the best. And I'm hoping, one day I watch you win an awards or doing something spectacular because you have the skills and the
Thank you.
attitude. So thank you for coming on, Frank.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, anytime. We'll do a round two here someday.
Exactly, and we'll just babble like we just did now. Well, I was being babbling, you were actually making sense. But anyway, and thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers!